Hey guys, what is up? It's Antonio. Welcome back to another episode here on Gladiator Disc Golf. Today we have episode 2 of Mail Monday. I am super excited about this episode because everything we are talking about today is fully driven and recommended by you guys. I am answering several of your questions that were delivered to me over the last video and on social media. I cannot wait to get into it. Let's go ahead and let's open it up. The first thing we're going to be talking about are the best beginner tips. And this is something that I love to talk about on this channel because I truly believe that the best beginner tips are also great tips for advanced and professional players as well, because it's really just simple things. And the first thing is to get comfortable with throwing putters and mid-ranges. You really want to be able to dial in your putters and mids. Putters and mid-ranges are great for beginners and advanced players alike because their rounded blunt noses really help you shape some really cool looking shots, and they have a lot of glide. Not only that, but they really help you learn proper nose angle and anhyzer and hyzer angle control. With putters and mid-ranges, you also really want to be focusing on using understable to neutral discs. Now, I was listening to the Disc Golf podcast about a week or so ago, and they were talking about how they're going to start saying neutral instead of stable as well, and I'm going to actually adopt that same premise for the same reason that they said. When people say stable, they automatically associate it with being a stable / overstable disc. Something like a destroyer is stable. And instead of just always having to differentiate in the enunciation of a word, I'm just going to say neutral. So when I say neutral, I mean a straight flying disc. And with putters and mids, you want to use understable to neutral flying putters and mids because they're going to help you learn proper form and not always be throwing on anhyzer. Is learning how to throw anhyzer super important? Yes, but it's not what you should be throwing for every single shot. The last beginner tip that I would say is don't always keep score. You are brand new to the game and you are learning form, you are learning how these discs fly that you have in your bag. The last thing that you want to be stressing out about is the fact that you're 10 over par, 15 over par, maybe even 20 or 30 over par. On some of those courses out there that might be near your house, like there might be some tough courses, and so getting 20, 30 over par for a beginner is probably pretty common. And that's really discouraging if you're keeping score and learning the game because you have everything against you. So I would say don't worry about keeping score for the first maybe even few months of playing until you start to feel really comfortable at the course and really comfortable with the discs in your bag. The next question was my best putting advice, and this actually goes back to one of my more recent putting videos that I came out with a couple weeks ago. There was a lot of discussion in the comments about some of the stuff I talked about, but I think the premise still stands true, and I'll get into why that is. The best putting advice I can give is to line up your putt. Now, whether that be with, for me, it's my right eye, right leg, and my right arm, lining all that up with the middle of the basket, lining that up works for me. A lot of the comments were talking about how the eye on your dominant hand side is not necessarily your dominant eye. So when you go to line up your putt, if let's say you're right-handed but left eye dominant, I would just say however you need to line that putt up with the middle of the basket, that's what you need to do because that's what's going to work for you. Regardless of which eye dominant you are, lining up your putt with the middle of the basket gives you the best opportunity and the highest chances to make the putt. Something else I would say with that is take your time. Now, in PDGA regulation events, you do have 30 seconds, so you can't just take 5 minutes to make your putt. But take your time. There's no reason that you need to, as soon as you walk up to your mini or as soon as you walk up to your disc, your putter is out of your hands in 3 seconds. Like, there's no way that you have calmed down, relaxed, taken a breath, and lined up your putt. So take your time. If it takes 10-15 seconds, then it takes 10-15 seconds. Just take your time because when you are ready and when you are relaxed, that's when you're more likely to make your putt. And the very last thing for that, I would say breathe. Breathing is something that we really need to practice when we're putting. Some of the best sharpshooters in the world focus on their breathing. And I'm not talking about disc golf sharpshooters. I'm talking about military sharpshooters. They shoot when their breathing is under control, on their exhale, and all these things, because it gives them precision, it gives them accuracy, and it really lets them hone in and focus on their target. The same for putting. If you made a really great shot and you're super excited and you got a 20-foot putt, you may think, oh yeah, I'm in the groove right now, let me just putt it, and you're probably going to miss because you're amped up, you're overly excited. You need to calm down, and the best way to do it is to breathe, steady your heart rate, and then line up your putt and make it. We had another request for the best mental tip. Now, as you've been watching this video, you've been seeing that I've been hitting a lot of trees, and if I haven't gotten visibly upset yet, I'm going to start getting visibly frustrated. And there's a couple reasons for that, but the best mental tip that I would say is relax. And it's super important that you learn how to relax when you're out on the disc golf course. Even in a tournament, you need to learn to relax. Now, why am I getting stressed out in this video? Well, there's 3 reasons why I'm getting stressed out in this video. The first is that this is the first time I've played this course in 10 months. This course is only 10 minutes from me, but I kind of stopped playing because I've been playing it so much, and I just started to get a little bored of it and wanted something different, and I was just getting frustrated with some of it, and so I didn't play it, and I didn't realize it had been 10 months when I went to record for this video. But with that, I mean, you're talking having to relearn some of the lines, having to get comfortable with the course again. They had moved some of the baskets, so some of it was new lines. So just different things like that. The other reason is that I really wasn't all that warmed up. I warmed up my putting, and so my putting was relatively good this day. But you know, my drives were just all over the place. You're seeing a lot of these drives hardly getting off the tee, and that is just, I wasn't relaxed. I was stressing out, and the third reason why I was feeling this way is because when I'm by myself playing and filming, it is a lot to focus on. And by no means does that mean I'm going to stop filming and playing. It's just something I need to work on. When I'm having to line up every shot with the camera and make sure that everything looks good color-wise and visibility-wise. And then once I do that, I then have to be like, okay, how am I going to line up this shot? How am I going to do all these things? So there's just a lot going on, and that shouldn't be an excuse for me playing poorly. But when you couple those 3 things together, it's definitely why I needed to learn how to relax. And honestly, that's the best mental tip. I played this course immediately after I filmed this round, and I think I shot 5 strokes better because I just finally settled down, I relaxed, and I wasn't recording, and I was warmed up. So, you know, that's going to make a big difference. And then the next thing is, how do I pick tournaments, and then how do I get ready for the first day of the tournament? So, how do I pick tournaments? I prefer wooded golf for a couple reasons, mainly because I like the more technical courses, and I can really trust my putters and mids to carry me through the course. But that doesn't mean I'm opposed to bomber courses. I've played some courses where you really need to have a driver. Now, by the end of the day, am I getting a little bored with it? Yes, but that's just more of a reflection of me and just my preference than the course itself actually being boring. There are some really fun bomber style courses that I've played that I go to again and again because I do enjoy them, and they do pose some really unique challenges that I'm not necessarily used to. So with that being said, I try to find courses that lend themselves toward my strengths, or courses that I enjoy. Now, how do I get ready for the first day of the tournament? Well, I actually try to get ready 2 nights before. So back when I was in high school with track and field and cross country, one of the things our coach always told us is, you know, when the meet was on Saturday, is on Thursday night, get a good night's rest. Same thing with disc golf. I try to sleep really well 2 nights before a tournament. And then the day before a tournament, I try to eat a lot of carbs so I have energy for the day. I pack a cooler filled with a water gallon. If I don't have a water gallon, I have a bunch of water bottles. I have Body Armor lights, so that's not too much sugar. I have a ton of ice. I have a bunch of snacks, and I never really go through all of it in an entire day of playing, but I go through a lot of it. So I just try to have a ton of fluids ready so I can just grab them out of the cooler in between rounds and put them in my bag so I have them with me out on the course. And then I just try to pack everything that I need for the tournament day the night before so I don't have to think about it. All I have to do the morning of is pick up my bags and go. So that's how I pick tournaments and how I get ready for tournaments. If I'm playing a brand new course, I do try to head out there a few times within the month to kind of learn it and get used to it. Definitely the week of, I try to get out there as well. But, you know, it's always difficult because I have a full-time job on top of doing all this. So it all just depends on what my schedule's like. I try not to play courses blind just because that's asking for trouble. Well guys, that about wraps up Mail Monday episode 2. I'm really enjoying this series. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. I didn't have time to get to everything that you guys had asked, and I promise I'm keeping note of it, and I'll just keep pushing things up to the next episode. So I'm super excited for what we have coming up, but make sure that you comment down below. What are some questions you have? What are some tips? What are some things you want to know about? And guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like this video. It lets me know that you want to see more content like this, and it just helps me out with all the analytics and that kind of thing. And stay tuned for later this week where I'll have a video coming out that I think is going to address a lot of questions that we have and in regard to the progression and everything that we want to see in disc golf. So until next time, guys, have a great round.